You're idling at a red light when your tack needle starts dancing up, down, up again, and your gut drops. Is your engine about to quit? Here's the truth. Erratic idle isn't random. It's your car waving a red flag. And if you ignore it, it could snowball into stalling, misfires, or even major engine damage. In the next few minutes, we'll reveal 11 hidden causes behind unstable RPM ranked from most dangerous to least, and how to fix them before they leave you stranded. Number 1. Faulty ignition. A misfiring engine is dangerous for more than one reason. Worn spark plugs or failing ignition coils will let cylinders go silent, causing the RPM to surge and drop as the engine skips. You might feel a shake or hear popping when idling, and get poor fuel economy or even see a check engine light. In gasoline engines, this is obvious. Diesel engines don't have spark plugs, but the equivalent is a faulty fuel injector or weak compression. In either case, the result is the same. The engine can't fire on all cylinders. This not only makes idle bounce, it can overheat and damage the catalytic converter over time. Action. Inspect and replace old spark plugs and ignition coils. Properly gapping new plugs and using high-quality coils is a quick fix that often restores a smooth, steady idle. Number 2. Fuel delivery problems. If the engine isn't getting fuel at a steady rate, idle can become erratic or high-low. A weak fuel pump, clogged fuel filter, or bad fuel pressure regulator all starve the engine of fuel at idle. You may notice hesitation when accelerating, and the RPM may jump as the computer struggles to add fuel. In extreme cases, the engine can stall or fail to start. This is serious because lack of fuel can strand you and cause misfires. Action. First, check/replace the fuel filter. Listen for a humming pump sound. When you turn the key, if it's unusually quiet, the pump may be weak. Many modern vehicles have in-tank pumps, so you might need a mechanic. If the pump or pressure regulator is failing, replace them. Keeping fuel injectors clean also helps. A fuel system cleaner in the tank can flush minor blockages. Number 3. Major vacuum leaks. A vacuum leak lets uncontrolled air into the engine, throwing off the fuel/air balance. Common culprits are cracked vacuum hoses, a leaking intake manifold gasket, or a faulty PCV valve. The engine computer tries to compensate for the extra air by adding fuel, which causes RPM to rise. Then it suddenly cuts fuel, causing RPM to drop, creating a hunting or stumbling idle. In cold weather, this can be worse as manifolds contract. You might even hear a hissing sound from under the hood. Action. Visually inspect all vacuum lines and intake seals for cracks or disconnections. You can spray brake cleaner or carb cleaner around joints while the engine is idling. If the RPM jumps when you spray a specific spot, you've found the leak. Fix by replacing any bad hoses or gaskets. Catching vacuum leaks early prevents lean running, which can burn valves and hurt the engine. Number 4. Sensor or ECU malfunctions. Modern engines rely on many sensors to manage idle. If one fails or reads wrong, the RPM can hunt. For example, a dirty or failing mass airflow sensor will misreport how much air is entering the engine, causing the computer to overfuel or under. Similarly, a bad throttle position sensor or a faulty oxygen sensor can confuse the ECU into wrong fueling. Even a bad coolant temperature sensor can keep the engine in cold start mode or go lean on a warm engine, both upsetting idle. Usually, a bad sensor throws a code, and the idle may lean out or run rough. Action. If you have an OBD2 scanner, check for fault codes. Cleaning a MAF sensor with a MAF cleaner often helps. Replacing failing sensors generally fixes idle problems quickly. Diesel engines have similar sensors, so troubleshooting them works on diesels too. Number 5. Exhaust leaks. An exhaust leak before the oxygen sensors can fool the engine computer. Fresh air leaking into the exhaust pipe upstream of the O2 sensor makes the sensor think the engine is running lean. So the ECU pulses extra fuel, then overcorrects, causing the idle RPM to oscillate. You might also see a rough idle, accompanied by the smell of exhaust fumes or hear ticking. This is serious because an exhaust leak can also introduce carbon monoxide into the cabin. Action. Visually inspect exhaust manifolds and connections for cracks or holes. Tighten any loose bolts or clamps. Sometimes spraying soapy water and watching for bubbles can pinpoint a leak. Repair or replace the leaking section. Once sealed, your idle will settle as the O2 sensor gets accurate data. Number 6. EGR valve issues. The EGR valve recirculates a bit of exhaust back into the intake to reduce emissions. It should be closed at idle, but if carbon buildup keeps it slightly open, exhaust gases seep into the intake when they shouldn't. This exhaust displaces fresh air, making the mixture too rich and the idle rough. The computer then hunts by adding air or fuel to compensate, causing RPM to bounce. On diesel trucks with EGR, this can be a common issue because diesels often run EGR continuously. If your EGR is stuck open or dirty, you'll get a rough, erratic idle and possibly stalling. Action. Remove and inspect the EGR valve and passages. Clean away carbon with throttle body cleaner or replace the valve if cleaning doesn't help. After a good cleaning, the valve should sit fully at idle and stop injecting extra exhaust gas, smoothing out the RPM. Number 7. Idle air. Control valve fault. Many engines use an idle air control valve to fine-tune idle speed. The IAC valve bypasses the closed throttle blade to let just the right amount of air in at idle. If this valve is dirty or sticking, it can't regulate air properly and the engine hunts for air/fuel balance. You might see the idle surge up and down unpredictably, or even stall when you come to a stop. Action. Spray the IAC valve and the throttle body with throttle body or carb cleaner, operating the valve a few times to clear deposits. Some systems let you just unplug the IAC to clean it. After cleaning, restart the car and let the ECU relearn idle. In many cases, that fixes a jerky idle. If not, replace the faulty IAC valve. They're fairly inexpensive on most cars. Number 8. Carbon buildup in the throttle body. If your car has an electronic throttle, carbon often accumulates around the throttle plate over time. This gunk restricts airflow unpredictably. Sometimes the plate catches on carbon and then suddenly freeze, making RPM drop, then spike. The engine computer keeps trying to trim fuel, resulting in a hunting idle. Picture, interior of a dirty throttle body. Carbon buildup around the throttle plate can choke airflow. Action. Remove the air intake duct and clean the throttle body. Use a throttle body cleaner and a clean rag or brush to remove carbon from the bore and plate. Move the throttle plate back and forth to clean both sides. After cleaning, often the idle becomes stable again. Also clear any throttle-related codes from the computer so it can relearn the idle position. Number 9. Dirty or failing fuel injectors. Fuel injectors spray the right amount of fuel into each cylinder. If injectors clogged, one or more cylinders may run lean, causing the engine to shudder or fluctuate at idle. You might feel a misfire or roughness, especially when accelerating from a stop. This can slowly ruin spark plugs and catalytic converters. Action. Try a high-quality fuel injector cleaner additive to dissolve light deposits. For severe clogging, professional cleaning or injector replacement needed. Replacing the fuel filter first is a good idea too. After cleaning, your idle should smooth out and fuel economy may improve. Number 10. Dirty air filter. A severely clogged engine air filter can starve the engine of oxygen. When the filter is gunky, the engine computer may run a bit rich to compensate, which can cause rough idling and popping sounds. While a dirty filter usually causes general performance issues and reduced MPG, it can lead to an unstable idle if airflow is severely restricted. In engines with a MAF sensor, a dirty filter can also deposit extra dirt on the sensor, compounding the problem. Action. Check your air filter if it looks dark and clogged. Replace it. A new filter restores proper airflow to the engine. Many mechanics note that once a dirty filter is replaced, rough idles often disappear. Number 11. Engine load and accessory demands. Not all idle fluctuations are a fault. When you turn on the air conditioning, headlights, or other electrical loads, the engine briefly revs higher to compensate. Even an automatic transmission momentarily raises idle when the torque converter unlocks. These small up and down changes are normal responses to added load. Cold weather or a low coolant temperature can also make the idle a bit high until warm-up. Usually these idle bumps are modest and steady out quickly.